Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Exploring Photography right here on Adorama TV, brought to you by Adorama. It's the camera store that has everything for photographers like you and me. Well, I'm hanging out in Phnom Penh, Cambodia at night in downtown by Riverside. It's where the city comes to life. There's all kinds of vendors and people moving around and clubs and all kinds of really interesting things. And so I'm taking a photo challenge to shoot all of this craziness at night with no flash. So it's a low light challenge. Now we're going to try to see all the different people that we can talk to and say hello. And to do this, I have a translator. Dara, come on over. And so this
hello
is
guys. My name is Dara and I'm here.
This is Dara.
Phnom Penh.
He's going to help talk to the people that I can't talk to make sure we have permission and everything is all good.
Of course.
He is also going to make sure that as we're filming, so Matt is running the camera right here, nobody comes and steals the cameras from either one of us. So let me just show you Matt. So a lot of people wonder, how are we doing this? That's Matt. What's up? And so there you go. Just to make it clear that we do have extra sets of eyes to make sure that somebody doesn't come around and grab our stuff. We're using camera straps. So I know a lot of people ask about safety. So the key is don't go out alone if you're going to do this. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to increase my ISO on my camera. I'm shooting with my Leica M. I'm going to shoot almost everything at 1.4, maybe 2. I'm going to shoot with different lenses, 35, a 21, a 50. And I'm going to shoot at different ISO settings, 800, 1600, 3200. We're going to see what we get. We're going to start by walking around, talking to some vendors, shooting some of this stuff, and learning some tricks of using some of the light that's hidden inside of these carts. So let's get started. In this setup, I'm facing a few challenges. What I've done here, I'm using a 35mm lens because I want to show all the fried frogs and the squids and all that kind of stuff. And our vendor here, she's a very nice woman. And so I'm using a 35. I'm shooting manually at a 60th of a second, f2 ISO 800. Make sure that's right, yeah, 800. And one of the things I've noticed is there's a light that's right by her eyes, and as she's moving in and out of that, her face is getting darker and brighter, so I sort of have to wait for that light to work. The other thing, if we look right down here, there's a bed of hot coals where they've been cooking, and so I almost burned myself on that. And then right beside me, I don't know if you can see this, but there is lots of traffic, so I'm trying to avoid being smashed by a car while we're doing this. So it's just a ton of fun, and we're going to shoot some more of this and see what we get. One of the things that we need to do before we shoot anybody is get permission, and so we're asking, is it okay if we shoot? Can you ask if it's all right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so he said it's okay for us to shoot.
Yeah. And
so I'm going to use this light right here to illuminate his face. Oh, he's giving us treats. Oh, you eat it for a second. I want to shoot first.
Okay.
So we'll see. Okay, let me see if I can get this really quickly. We're shooting with a really slow shutter speed here. Beautiful. I love with the flames. I love that. Wonderful. Excellent, excellent. I love it. I'll show him what we're doing. Here you are. These are snails and eggs. Snails and eggs. Do you eat the snails?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna just take a couple pictures here. And notice that this is an LED light strip here, and that's gonna be the only light. Hey, where are you going? You have to come back. Our subject just left. But if he sits here, this is going to illuminate him. So if I shoot where Matt is right now, I think we'll get a really cool shot of the snails and the eggs in the foreground and our subject back here. So yeah, have a seat. So I'm going to shoot. Dara is just making sure none of these bikes hit me. And we will see what we get. So I'm shooting everything in manual mode because things tend to get wonky when I get lights from the background, that kind of stuff. So this is exactly what I want. This is a wide angle lens. This is a 35, so I'm getting close and I'm shooting a lot. I don't want my model to pose here. This is real life stuff. There we go, yes. Snails and tiny crabs. Who doesn't like a snail and a tiny crab? Mmm, yummy. Once again, we have this light providing all the light for our scene here. I am not brave enough to have some of this food, but maybe later. I just noticed behind me there is this hotel, and a boat going by on the river here. And that is going to be really awesome because all we have are these reflections on the water. So if I shoot that at a really slow shutter speed, we should have some really nice light leaks. And I've got my tiny Coleman tripod to make sure that my camera doesn't move. So I'm going to set this up down here, and then I'm going to get a little bit dirty, frame everything up, and see what we get. So I am shooting right now at I'm going to shoot at about f5.6. I'm focusing at infinity. This is going to give me a 1.5 second shutter speed. That's close to level. Another one of the things I love to do in low light is pan. And that means is I'm setting my ISO to ISO 800. It's sort of high. I have my aperture opened all the way up to f2 to let in a lot of light. But even in these lighting situations, it's really dark, which means I can use a really slow shutter speed. So right now, I have my shutter set to 1/8 of a second. I'm shooting in manual mode. And then what I can do is I can find a motorcycle or a tuk-tuk or a car, and I can track that. And that means that my camera and my subject are moving at the same speed, but the background is going to be blurred. And because across the street we have these really cool trees with all the lights on them, those are going to blur. It's going to be a really colorful scene. So I'm going to shoot a few of these. Panning can take a little while to get right, so I'll probably have a few blurry images, but all I need is one that's going to be spectacular. So I'm going to do that right now. So we're walking down the street, and I've noticed that there's a lot of people that are having their evening meal, and so hopefully I can find somebody that will let me take their pictures. We've got some lights that are sort of hanging on some stands here, and I think it'll be a really interesting shot to show sort of what life is like in Phnom Penh at night. Is it okay if I take your picture? Is that good? Okay. Yeah, you can. Awesome. Yeah, awesome. I found a balcony here that overlooks a really busy intersection, and so what I want to do is use a really slow shutter speed to get some light streaks of all these cars and tuk-tuks zipping around. So what I've done here is I have set my ISO down to ISO 200. I have cranked my aperture closed. It is at an aperture setting of f16, and that means that my exposure here is going to be about 60 seconds. My camera is on aperture priority mode. It's going to try to go as long as it can. I'm using a cable release, and I have this on my little Coleman tripod. So I'll take a few shots, and we're going to get some really interesting results from this balcony overlooking the intersection. Well, I had a blast tonight zipping around Phnom Penh and seeing all the nightlife. Dara, thank you so much for being security and helping out, translating and all that kind of stuff. So you've been an invaluable help. You know, one of the fun things about shooting at night is just experimenting. You'll notice that I shot some things with a really wide open aperture, but I also shot some things with a closed aperture. I shot things at high ISO and low ISO. So you can use any of your settings. Just play with it, get out at night, get a tripod, and have a lot of fun. You'll see that it is a total blast. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to Adorama TV. It's absolutely free, so click on the link right now. Dara did it, so you can do it too. And we will see you again next time.